Welcome back. Today on Dialed In DIY, we have our sight set on a really fun project. Let's set up shop and make a dart gun and darts using nothing but household items. I promise we're going to do this in a 5-minute process, but you got to be careful because this has quite a punch. Let's get started. You can start gathering up your materials because you're going to need a plastic bottle, some tape, a rubber band, and one of these bamboo skewers. I promised I could knock this out in 5 minutes, and I'm going to prove it, so let's start the timer and get rolling. Grab your plastic bottle and a knife, and let's cut off the top. You're going to cut this just below the rim where the top transitions into the main body of the bottle, and when you're done, you're going to have something that looks a little bit like a funnel. Now you want to remove the cap because we're going to place it down and punch a hole right through the top. This needs to be a hole big enough for your little bamboo skewer to go through. The hole size doesn't have to be very precise, just big enough to make sure that freely will slide back and forth through there once we've got everything set together. So I test them before I make sure I'm done. Now you want to grab a rubber band and cut it so that you end up with a rubber band string of sorts. Wider rubber bands work better than these thinner ones, and I did switch out later for a wider one because after several uses I actually snapped the rubber band and had to replace it anyway. Now you're going to place the rubber band down through the opening of the bottle top so that it leaves like a horseshoe kind of a shape. The knots are going to still be sticking out the top when you're done. Pinch the end of the rubber bands against the neck of the bottle while pushing the cap on to get started, and then you can twist the cap on the rest of the way to hold the rubber band in place. With that done, we're going to stretch out the rubber band a little bit and make sure everything works. This little test pull is going to make sure that the first time we try to use it, it doesn't snap the rubber band on us. That gets a little frustrating. Now we need to prepare a dart, and doing that isn't very challenging. All we're going to really do to start with is make a little notch in the end. This helps it to hold a little bit more firmly against the rubber band when we pull it back. The picture in the inset below were all notches made with the recommendations that you just saw on the screen. Any of those methods works pretty well. We're now going to do a quick test on the whole setup just to make sure everything's fine, but make sure you do not let go yet. It hopefully doesn't need to be said, but I'm going to say it anyway. From this point forward, you do not want to aim this towards yourself, anyone else, or anything else that's living or valuable to you or anyone in your family, because you could break it, hurt it, or get yourself in a lot of trouble. We're now going to finish our dart with a little bit of tape towards the tip. This is going to serve two functions. The main function right now that we're interested in is adding a little bit of weight to the front to help it fly directly at the target. The inset picture below shows you the 6 darts that I made to try out on this particular test model, and when we do try it out, you're going to see that second reason why adding this tape was a good idea. As promised, the actual work time on this project came in at 5 minutes. Told you we could do it. So I guess that means we deserve to test it out and have some fun, but before we do, let's make sure we're being safe. I think it's a good idea to wear some safety glasses just in case anything flies back against your face in that general direction. Your eyes are protected. Shooting it is just about as easy as it was to make. All you need to do is push the dart through the hole in the top of the cap, reach around, throw that rubber band over the end of the dart, and then pinch it between your fingers, pull back, and let go. If you've aimed correctly, you just made a nice hole in your target. I make these projects because they're fun for me and I do enjoy it, but I'm not taking responsibility for the actions or outcomes if you decide to make one yourself. I hope you do have some fun trying to make these, but you're doing so at your own risk. Please be safe and be responsible. As I mentioned in the notes earlier in the video, there are some tips in the description below, so please check those out if you have some more interest in how you can do some other adjustments with your new dart gun. Hey, remember that second reason I told you about for the tape? There it is. Without the tape, those would have gone straight through the cardboard. And my first set on these a couple years ago, that's exactly what I did, and it hit what was behind the target. Trust me, you want the tape. Thank you for watching. Please press like, and then subscribe. There will be more Dialed In DIY to come.